Hey, what's up guys? Pastor Abe here, alongside this incredible team that you're about to meet. And we want to talk to you a little bit about what goes on at Cornerstone Downtown. We get a lot of cool questions and DMs from people that want to learn more about the heart of Cornerstone Downtown. And as you guys know, we do life together. We believe, in fact, we always say that life is better when we do it together. That if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. In Cornerstone Downtown and all of our campuses at Cornerstone, it is not the efforts of any one person, but it's always a group effort. It is a bunch of incredible people coming together, giving of their time, talent, and treasure to make sure that every week we have an amazing experience so that we can love our city and everyone that comes out. And I want to introduce you to this incredible group of people. We have Abraham, we have Becca, Oscar, Enoch, and Pac. And they're part of our incredible dream team at Cornerstone Downtown. And today, you're gonna get to know them a little bit. You're gonna get to know about the heart of Cornerstone Downtown and what it's all about. And I wanna start with you, Abraham, if that's cool. I wanna talk about your experience when you first came to Cornerstone Downtown. I know we all have stories, and you're watching this and you have your own story, and sometimes you feel like you're the only one who came in knowing nothing. You know, I remember when I first came to Cornerstone and I walked in, I was so overwhelmed by everything that was going on. I almost felt like an outsider, but little did I know that once I stepped in, that everyone had a story. And even though it felt like everybody already knew each other, when I came in, I stepped up, I engaged, and I found out that every person has a story, and they connected, and they have needs that were met, and man, it's incredible to hear stories. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your experience when you came to Cornerstone Downtown, what that was all about, and how you feeling now?
So when I first came to downtown Cornerstone, it was actually the third service that you guys were having, and I missed the first two, and I felt really down because I was like, man, I really want to go. I saw the social media posts, the cool pictures, the cool people. I was like, dude, I felt like something about downtown Cornerstone resonated within me, and so I was like, I want to go. So, but I didn't know anybody, and that was the one thing that was holding me back. So those first two services that I missed was because I was scared. I was scared to take a step forward in faith and go somewhere where I knew nothing about the people that were there. I knew nothing about nothing. Like, just, the only one person that I will say that I knew was Caesar.
Yeah.
And so I showed up third service, and it was loose loft. I'm like, great, this place looks cool. The people are dressed, like me. So I'm like, I felt like I was at home.
Yeah.
One of the things that stood out was the sense of it felt organic, and I feel like that term, gets tossed around a lot, but it really did. It felt like a grassroots sort of, like church.
Right.
Even though we're part of the main campus, which is, the Cornerstone South Campus, it just felt like it was its own thing, and it was special. I got to meet you, the pastor. It was amazing. I got plugged in right away. And the rest is history. I mean, to be quite honest with you, though, for anyone that's out there that's on the fence, that's doubting whether they should take a step, and get plugged in, just do it. Don't think about it, because I thought about it for 5 years, and I wish I could go back and do it all over, because getting plugged into a life group is probably the best thing that's happened to my life.
That's awesome. That's really cool. It's a lot, I think, like our stories, right? I think all of us, we can relate, coming in with some fears, some doubts, and it's when you make that connection, when you show up, when you're like, man, I wish somebody would have told me sooner. I wish I would have came. I wish I would have gotten plugged in. I wish I would have raised my hand when I felt awkward, because it would have saved me so much pain, and would have gotten plugged in and gotten to meet incredible people. So that's really cool. Becca, I want to talk to you about something that it's a little broader, in the sense of that it applies to not just people that attend Cornerstone, but just this whole generation. I feel like we're in a time where we are obsessed with anything that is new. It seems like I can't keep up with the iPhones that are coming out. They're like, this iPhone this, an iPhone that, an iPhone that. Every 2 weeks there's an upgrade. There's new. And I'm constantly on this race trying to go after what is new. But what I've learned is that the great things that come in life, the blessings now in my age as a dad of two, are not the new things that come in, but it's about me getting a perspective about the things that are already in my life. So when you get that perspective, you become thankful and you take even more advantage of the things that you already have. Now, one of the things that I believe in this generation, people are really going after it's the church community. And this thing about chasing the new, it's affecting young people's decision in whether they become rooted and planted in their local church. When the Bible says that those who are planted in the house of the Lord will flourish. So talk to us about what happens after the hype is over. We're going into our 8th month, I believe, as Cornerstone Downtown. God's been doing some incredible things, but you can see it in people. It's no longer the new thing. Right. We're becoming an established church in the community. We're becoming a legitimate church. Community leaders are coming, people are coming, families are coming in. But now that hype is over. Now we're established. So can you speak to that, and what was your experience with that, and what do you do after the hype is over to stay rooted and planted at Cornerstone Downtown?
Okay, so what I would say to them is that you have to really embrace the mission. Mm-hmm. When you embrace the mission, which ours is to turn the hearts of families and youth to God, and you follow that, and that's how you beat trying to chase and find the newness.
Yeah.
When the Bible says you have to stay planted and rooted by the river, this is the river.
Yeah.
Like this community, this church will give you life.
Right.
Whatever you're chasing, if you're waiting for the new sneaker drop, that's cool. But then you're gonna wait for the new sneaker drop.
Yes.
But I like spaghetti. So spaghetti tastes better when it's in the refrigerator the next day, right?
Yes,
so all
that's
the
right.
seasonings. So a lot of things, people, if you start chasing new, you never get to really experience the real flavor.
Wow.
So you gotta make real deep-rooted commitment. Every relationship has to have realness. If you have a first level commitment,
Right.
that's a shallow relationship.
Yeah.
But if you get committed into a ministry, if you get committed to a family life group, and you become consistent, then it changes you from the inside out. And that's how you really fight newness and trying to find and chase something about the hype.
Yes.
Then you become the hype.
Right.
And you change your environment. And that's how I tell people, hey, be that person that changes the environment. Don't wait for the new thing to come.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
You become the hype.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're waiting on somebody else to give us a reason to show up.
Right.
And at some point, you're going to find yourself where no one is giving you a reason, because maybe God is using you to be the reason for somebody else to come in.
Exactly.
We have to lead ourselves. We have to push ourselves to step up, to show up and be a part of the community. That's awesome. That's really cool. And you have me at spaghetti. That's good. Right? Some hot sauce.
Yes.
Oscar, man, you're one of our life group leaders, and I'd love for you to talk to us about this. I was just reading in this great book by Barna. It was giving some statistics about our generation in church. Talking about millennials, post-millennials, that they said that there's a smaller percentage, less than 50%. You're looking at young people that are saying that the reason why they don't go to church is not because they don't believe in God, but because they can find God elsewhere. So they're talking about, man, I don't attend church not because I don't believe it, not because I don't have the values, but because my experience and relationship with God is something that I can very easily find on my smartphone, through blogs, through podcasts and YouTube channels, which are all great. I mean, I'm into that. I read and I listen to podcasts every single day. But there's something about community. There's something that happens when people come together into a room and they have that experience, and you feel that that person next to you. It's almost like a vibe. It's almost like an energy. But in order for that to happen, somebody has to be invited. Somebody has to be compelled. Somebody has to be brought in. And I believe the reason why so many people are no longer going to church is simply because no one's inviting them. But now in our generation, it's hard, right? You put yourself on the line. It takes vulnerability. It takes transparency. So what have you seen works for you in your demographic? What have you done to share your faith and your belief with others to compel them to come, not so that they can experience what you've experienced, but so that they can experience what God has for them? Maybe you can give us some pointers, what you've experienced, and help us out. How can we share our faith in a practical way?
Well, I love that question. I'm so passionate. I think that when it comes to God, when it comes to sharing your faith, you have to love and be passionate. You have to be relational. You have to be able to connect with people. You have to be able to not be afraid to speak to people, not be afraid to share your story. I think what wins people over, obviously it's God, but what gets people attention is your story. It's where you come from, what got you to that place, what got you out of that place, and why are you in that place. And for me, I love sharing my faith. I want people to know that where I used to be and where Jesus has me now. And if you don't open your mouth and if you don't tell people, they're never going to know. And people will know if it's fake or it's not. People will know when it comes from the heart or when it doesn't. And what gets people is when it comes from the heart, when they say, wow, what's wrong with that guy? So for me, it's staying consistent. Sometimes you're going to talk to people and they're not going to want to come. And you might be down or you say, God, what's going on? But stay consistent. Those are the people that need God the most. You don't give up. You call, you text. And also what's worked for me is social media. I post everything. Everything that goes on in church. I'm sorry, I do. I think that it's... we live in a generation where everybody's on social media. And I've gotten DMs from people that have seen my story and seen what's going on in Cornerstone, and they come and they love it and they're like, what's going on? And that's what got me to come. When I seen the post from Cornerstone Downtown, and I just fell in love with it, and I remember I hit you up right away, and ever since then I've been coming. But my advice would be, number one, fall in love with people. You have to love people. If you don't, you're not going to get it. Fall in love with people. And remember that this is what Jesus wants us to do. We preach. And like you said, nowadays it feels like people don't do that no more. But we can still do it. We have the power to go out there and invite people, talk to people, and I think that that's awesome. That's what God did.
That's awesome. I love how you said that you love sharing what God did in your life. There's nothing more powerful than sharing your story. And I think that's a key idea, because there's so many people that are watching this that are saying, man, well, Oscar is just really good at speaking, or maybe what am I going to put on social media? But what we would inspire people to do is to tell their story. Man, it is incredible what God is doing in our lives. If you're a believer of Jesus, you're a follower of Jesus, or if you're interested in joining a community, man, that means that God has brought you from so far, and now you're in, and that within itself is a miracle. So it's really cool how you've shared your story. We've seen your story and the progress that God has brought you in. And there's so many of us that, how many people could be engaging with Jesus if only we would be obedient to share that story? I think that's key. Paco Pack, Wolf Pack. It's a man with many names, a man with many talents. There's a couple more out there. You're one of the leaders of our dream team. You participate in the media department, the multimedia, the production of it all. So you're engaged, you're hands-on, you're committed. But I remember there was a time, people that know this, you're my brother, at some point we were on and off. There were seasons where we were just coming in just to check things out, just to see what it was. And I think we can both speak to the fact that in that season where we were attending but not engaging, we weren't really receiving the full experience. And it's not because of anything that the pastors were doing, the leaders were doing, because they were doing the same thing that they're doing now. It was us not fully engaging. And I believe that community, it happens not when you attend, but when you engage. So can you talk to us about your story, about what it means to be engaged in ministry, what it means to be engaged in the church life, and how was your life before? What is it now? What have you learned? And why should people be looking forward to jumping in and serving as part of the dream team.
Right. Just going back to that story, when we started, I joined Cornerstone in 2006, and I can say it took me about 2 years of just coming to church. We grew up in church, but I was never really plugged in into a ministry, like really, really plugged in. Just doing ministry itself, and I want to touch on that right now, it's not necessarily being plugged in or being part of. So for those 2 years, 2006, 2008, I started coming with another friend, and I just did one service. We did, I believe it was at 10 o'clock at that time, or 11. And then it took us a couple months, then we were like, let's go to 2 services because we're comfortable, and this is our life. Sundays is church. So then we took a couple services, but it was just come and go, come and go for about 2 years. And I can just say, just like the life outside of that is just, you go out as empty as you came in.
Yeah.
You come to church, and just being in the building doesn't mean that you're receiving anything.
Right.
You just come, you're taking this place, you're taking time. It's just like going to the mall. Just by sitting at the mall doesn't mean that you're gonna take anything home.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was that kid just going to church, just to go. And it took me a couple of years to join ministry, and even then, it was a huge process of learning ministry and how just being busy doesn't mean that you're actually receiving.
Yeah.
So it's been a huge process of ministry that it doesn't mean you can be there, you can show up, you can do things, you can impact people, and you're still not getting impacted.
Yeah.
So, I just think that throughout the years and just maturing the word, maturing as a man, as a person, it just got me to that place where I had to open up.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna receive anything, like you said, even though the pastors are doing the same things, the worship is doing the same things, but I'm not receiving because I came in with a different mentality. So it was at the moment where I decided, okay, I need to build relationships, go to life groups, and it was a stretch for me, just not showing up because I was used to it. It was a stretch to actually open up to people, build meaningful relationships, and understand that being busy, especially behind the scenes, working in production, you do so much and you can go home and still you met no one that year. You met not one person you connected with, and it's scary to think that someone can live years and years as part of the church and not be a part of the church. So I think that just in my experience with downtown, it's a huge 360. Just doing the ministry, doing the work, and just empowering other leaders to do work. And then you step out to the plate and connect. You go to life group, you start a life group, you meet people, and then you're actually involved with the church, because the church is the family. It's not the building, it's not the work, and I just think that it's up to us. It's up to us to just not be busy, but actually, like Oscar said, you gotta fall in love with people. You gotta understand that the church doesn't take life unless there's people and connections involved.
That's great, and it's true. There's this beautiful tension. There's like this balance between serving and receiving, right? I say being filled and being spilled. The only reason why we're filled is so we can be spilled. What happens sometimes when we're in ministry and we join a dream team, the first thing that we do, we get so busy. We just want to work, go. What else? And we spill to the point where we realize that we are empty because we weren't being filled. Now, on the other end, there are people that come to church every week. They come downtown. They come and they sit. They come at the same time, park in the same place, sit in the same chair. They say the same things. And they're so filled to the point where even they begin to feel heavy. And it feels like they're not making an impact because they're being filled but not spilled. And there's this beautiful, beautiful tension in understanding that we need to be accountable for our own state and to say, okay, how are my gauges? How are my levels? Am I receiving? Am I giving? Because the only reason why we get to receive is so that we can pour out into people. And the best way to do that is in Dream Team. So that's really cool. Thanks for sharing. And then Enoch, the bearded king, Enoch, the coffee guru. He has many names. I want us to talk about this last portion of this as we come into a close, because it seems like after hearing the stories of this crew, there's been some progress. Yeah. But there was a step one. There was a day where we had to make the choice: am I going to connect, or am I going to disconnect? I believe that communities and people are not static, but they're always moving.
Yeah.
And if you are in a season as a person right now just watching this and you're not coming closer together into the community, you feel like, well, I'm just gonna stay put. I'm not gonna engage, I'm only gonna show up, I'm not gonna give, I'm not going to serve, I'm not gonna go to life groups. So you're like, I'm not gonna come any closer, I'm gonna stay where I am. The truth is that we're always moving. So if we're not coming closer together, we're coming further apart.
True.
So there is a moment where we have to choose, man, I don't want to go further apart from this community. I want to engage, and it's not enough to stay put. You actually have to take steps that nobody else can force you to.
True.
We all had to say, hey, they're putting the invites every week.
Yep.
They're putting those banners. They're putting those sign-up sheets. I don't know who they're for. They're probably not for me. The truth is they are for us.
Yeah.
At some point they're for me.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about the importance of being connected and how you got connected, your experience about being just connected, whether it's through ministry, through life group, through sermons, through your generosity, and how has that impacted your life, just being connected to Cornerstone?
Yeah, talking right what you said about like just showing up, like not doing anything, just sitting there, blank face, hearing the pastor do his thing, and just receive that and then go home, not talk to anybody, and I'm just out of here. I don't want to talk to nobody. I got mine. Jesus, we're cool. Like, I'm good. I always thought like that was enough growing up. Like, I sit there, I listen, and I dip.
Yeah.
But before I got here, like I went through like a traumatic experience. Lost my father. Lost a couple things in my life. Lost tons of friends. And I was just in this space of just wondering.
Yeah.
And I showed up to Cornerstone, and like the service was amazing. Like lights.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave, but after every time just leaving, just emptiness.
Yeah.
I was just going home, just empty. I'm like not talking to anybody. I was just by myself.
Yeah.
But there was this one crazy dude. We all know him, Mundo. If you're out there, this man chased me every time I showed up to service. Like, hey man, come to life group.
Yeah,
it's
that's
dope.
how he talks too. Yeah.
And I was like, no, you're crazy. I don't. What life group? What is this, like a little seance? Like, no. But after a year and a half of him every Sunday saying, just come through, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
I finally went. And I wish I just accepted the invite that year and a half sooner. Because when I showed up, there was 7 other guys, and they're just so welcoming.
Yeah.
Found out we had common interests, video games, tacos, you know the thing, how that works.
Come on.
And using a snowball effect, even though we use it in a negative way, this snowballing effect of just like great things just started happening. I got plugged in, I got to know all these guys, became my brothers. And then after that, it's like, oh, why don't you help serve in ushers?
Yeah.
I was like, what's ushers? He's like, you know those dudes that standing around with like the white button-up shirts? I was like, yeah, just serve. It's awesome. It's dope. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't do anything else on Sunday. So I would go and I would serve. I met another group of people. And after that, they're like, oh, we have hangouts. And then from there, you just begin to like meet new people and like begin to share experiences and find out that other people have your same story and you hear other stories. And this sense of community is something I just never knew existed.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like 2 people in my life, my mom, my dog, and I was good. But this whole thing, Christianity, is just amazing. The fact that I know all these people, Abraham, Paco, you, Becca, camera guy back there, and Oscar, that we all are here together and we're doing something amazing.
Yeah.
All because I made a decision that I wanted to move forward.
Yeah.
So for anybody out there is like, no, I don't know, like these people saying life group, just commit already.
Yeah.
Because it changed my life.
Right.
And it continues to mold and shape me into the man I'm still becoming. It's just already just accept it. Just commit already. Like there's no other way to say it. Just commit and just watch God just like mold you and just shape you and like project you in some place that you never thought you'd be in your life.
That's incredible. I know you were an usher. I cannot picture you in a white button-up shirt. I cannot. But that's true. It's in every big shift that I at least personally in my life that I can say all the great things that happened in my life began with one moment of decision. All the great seasons in my life, to be a parent, to be a husband, to be a pastor, that have marked me for the rest of my life, begin with a moment where it's up to me. I have to decide, am I going to get on my knee and give her the ring? Am I going to commit to being a pastor? Am I going to sign up at this table? It takes that moment. And there are people right now that I know are at the edge of the moment, and they're listening to the stories, and they're so pumped up, and they're just so ready to take that next step. And if this is you, if you're watching this and you're saying, you know, Pastor Ray, you got me, you know, I hear them, they sound like the satisfied customers from those 3 a.m. infomercials, like the before and after. They're all happy, but you know what? I'm not the after picture, I'm the before. I don't feel joy in my life, I don't have peace, I suffer from anxiety, I suffer from depression. I feel like even though I'm, like sometimes us, in a room full of people, we feel alone. Maybe you're watching this and you're saying, I'm done with that and I'm ready for the next season of my life. I want to encourage you to right now to get connected. One of the ways that you can do that is to visit turningthehearts.com/downtown. That's our page. You can read more about it there. You can sign up to a life group. That's small gatherings that happen every week throughout our city of people just like this having conversations about our faith, growing closer together with God and with each other. We have dream team signups. If you're saying, man, I don't have any skills, you got skills. Maybe you're the best, say whatever. Taquero. You know what I mean? Like you make tacos and you're like, yeah, there's no taco ministry. Maybe God's calling you to start that ministry. I mean, I pray for you. I hope you are. Another way you can get connected to us is to stay connected to our social media at Cornerstone Downtown on Instagram. Check it out. And right there on our highlights, you can find all of our life group leaders, and you can find the one that works out for you and send us a DM. And you know what? We are praying for you. We're praying with you, believing that it's not a coincidence that you're watching this, that God has a plan for you. And we want to get to know you. We want to make a heart connection with you. We want to meet you, and we want to do life with you. So thanks for watching this. Thanks to the crew, for all you guys, just for sharing your story. And thank you guys for watching this video again. Love you.